Good morning. You can relax. I'm not going to ask you to stand up and put your hand on anybody's shoulder. However, let's begin our brief time together with a short quiz. Now, this is not a quiz to determine adequate yearly progress, but at the conclusion, I think you'll see that the stakes are indeed quite high. Here's the question. What do jury nullification, global warming, and America's public schools have in common? Well, first, jury nullification occurs when a jury of 12 citizens apparently sets aside facts and hard evidence and, based on really unclear reasoning, renders a verdict contrary to the evidence. Second, despite volumes of scientific data and observations over time to show that the Earth is undergoing some rather dramatic changes in climate, we see those who deny global warming. They may base their conclusion on a snowstorm in the South, the Midwest, or the Northeast, or on a heat event striking the North. Again, this conclusion is based on something other than science. As Will Rogers once quipped in his fractured grammar, quote, "It don't bother me what people don't know. What bothers me is what they know that just ain't so." Well, as for America's public schools, for the last 2 centuries, the American system of public education became the envy of the world as it opened its doors to all children, regardless of ethnicity, religion, wealth, disability, or creative talent. Few countries have chosen to provide a system at public expense which offers the range of opportunities found in communities large and small throughout the nation. This must be viewed as one of our greatest accomplishments as we see success which comes from our American schools, your schools. Now back to the quiz. Despite these facts and literally millions of examples of success in every state, our detractors, politicians, opinion editors, and think tank writers, they choose to set aside these facts and focus on a minority of situations in which the results for schools and students are not as we might wish. AASA Executive Director Dan Domenech has termed this conclusion as focusing on the 10% instead of the 90%. Again, disregarding the preponderance of evidence to arrive at an erroneous conclusion. As you can see, jury nullification, denying global warming, and judging public schools are very similar. A great deal of what the media, politicians, leaders, and the public think they know is simply not so. A case in point are some school reformers who blindly promote unregulated charter schools, vouchers, pay for performance, competitive grants to encourage competition, and any number of other reform initiatives which are not supported by sound or credible evidence. What can we do about it? As school leaders, we must emphasize the need for each student to successfully leave our schools with a plan and the skills to make their plans real. For many of our students, this plan will take them out of poverty, one of the greatest impediments to success and a good life. For others, it will help them assume roles of leadership in medicine, law, science, and government in that most far-reaching field of all, teaching. AASA's work is important. First, in advocacy to highlight the 90% successes, and second, in support for those who lead schools. In more than 30 years working with AASA and state organizations, I know the importance of persistent advocacy by our collective organization and the importance of a network of colleagues who are as committed as are we. You see, if we leave advocacy for school change to those who have never led complex organizations, whether urban or rural, we will continue to get the flawed plans which come from purported experts with predictable results. Our advocacy must insist that federal control be limited in proportion to the federal share of school resources. The stakes are high. Public education is the very foundation of our democracy and our economy. I've been honored to work alongside many AASA leaders in advocacy for years. If you choose me as your president-elect, I will continue to work with you as we pursue initiatives which are for the benefit of our schools and for their students. I thank you.